The EcoCAR Challenge is taking place right now. It's coming now to the home stretch. There are 16 different teams from North American universities working very hard to go home with a title, and this is really the future of the American car industry and our energy needs. And joining us now, we're very pleased to have Dr. Stephen Chu, who is the United States Secretary of Energy. And Dr. Chu, thanks so much for being with us. Talk to us about what's happening here and this program. I just think this is wonderful.
Oh, I agree. It's a competition. There are 16 North American colleges, universities that are taking part in this. They form a team. They get a stock car, parts, and say, make this an economically efficient car. Make it a car that the consumer will want to buy, that satisfies all the safety standards. So it's really on-the-job competition, but training that really excites the young future engineers, the engineering leaders of our country.
And so what are they doing? What kind of ideas have they come up with?
Well, there's a number of them. They have carte blanche, but typically they, for example, would take in and put in a mixture of a very highly efficient internal combustion engine, a diesel or a gasoline engine. They will marry that to a set of electric motors, a control system that they would have to program, and batteries that they could have some limited range. Others, I believe, went the electric vehicle route, and so it's a mixture.
100 years from now, Dr. Chu, where are we going to be? Are we going to be running vehicles without gasoline?
Oh, I hope it's going to be a lot sooner than 100 years. I think what I see in the car technology, in the battery technology over the last 5 years has been absolutely stunning. Right now you can drive 100 miles in an electric vehicle, or you can drive, let's say, 40, 50 miles in a plug-in hybrid. 4 or 5 years from now, those numbers will double. 5 or 6, 8 years from now, I think those numbers will triple. The cost will come down by at least 1/2, probably to 1/3. So you can get a mass-marketed $20,000 car where you can drive 300, 350 miles on a single charge. That would be very exciting.
Well, you and I are I think about the same age. And I dream about the day when we run on tiny little batteries. And maybe we run entire cities, not to mention cars, on batteries and other such things. Is that realistic?
Well, as I said, I've been watching the battery technology develop over the last 6, 8 years. Before I became Secretary of Energy, I was actually a scientific advisor for a battery company as well. So I had a kind of a bird's eye view of what was going on. And during that time, and since I've become Secretary of Energy, I've had a bird's eye view of many other battery manufacturers. And during that time, I have to tell you, it's been a very exciting to watch this development. A lot of smart people getting very innovative new ideas on batteries. And so, to reduce the size of a battery of the same amount of stored energy to 1/3 the size and 1/3 the cost is a big deal. Right. And I think you can essentially bank on having it 1/2 the cost and 1/2 the size in the next 5 years.
What's slowing us down?
Sorry.
What are our obstacles? I would love for this to happen now, and obviously Americans would too. What do we need to do better?
Well, there's first, before you introduce a battery into a car, there are huge safety issues that you have to overcome and make sure that it's completely bulletproof, that it can withstand the very coldest temperatures, the hottest temperatures, collisions, things of that nature. So it has to be very, very robust. So the batteries that are, for example, going into today's cars have essentially been tested pretty strenuously for the last 3 or 4 years. The next generation batteries that are on the bench are now going into testing, but then there's yet another generation that are in the laboratory. And then there's even a further generation where people are beginning totally different combinations. We went from metal hydride batteries, first from lead acid to metal hydride to lithium ion to second generation lithium ion. Now you're looking at totally different approaches, for example, lithium air that could perhaps increase the energy density by a factor of 5 or more.
Well, Dr. Stephen Chu, it's wonderful stuff, and behind you is one of the cars. And when are we going to find out the winner?
I think it's going to be posted tonight, but you should ask my young colleague over here some questions.
I'm sorry, I didn't know you had somebody sitting next to you. Let's go. Can we pan a little bit to the right? All right. Tell me who you are and what you're doing.
My name is Ryan Melsert. I'm one of the team leaders for the Georgia Tech EcoCAR team. So we're one of the 16 universities here. We chose to use a power split hybrid with an ethanol vehicle. We competed all last week at the GM Proving Grounds. And tomorrow night, actually, we find out how we did in all those tests.
Yeah. What's your view of the future in terms of, EcoCars?
I believe it's definitely a staged process. Right now we see biofuels, we see mild hybrids, small electrification really taking the forefront. Next 5 to 6 years, I think we'll see more of a big move towards full electric vehicles. As second-gen biofuels come online, much smaller footprint. I think biofuels electrification really carries through the next 5 to 10 years, maybe 15, before we really get into the pure electric vehicles covering most of the bases.
Right. Well, I have 2 young daughters, and I keep telling them all the time that someday, you won't even know what gasoline is. You won't even know what oil is. And maybe that day is sooner than we think. Thank you both for being with us. Dr. Stephen Chu, U.S. Secretary of Energy, many thanks for taking the time to talk to us.